didn't get to do a lot.
Okay, we're going to bring the city council meeting to order. I'd like to first ask everyone to stand and join in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And can you please do roll call?
Jenny Bauer Schultz. Here. Matt Dyer.
Here.
Tyler Fullingham.
Here.
Scott Murray.
Here.
Abby Wilder. Here.
Okay, was everyone given a chance to review the minutes from the previous meeting held on June 3rd? Any corrections, deletions, additions?
Make motion to accept them as emailed.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Alright, looks like we have an update from Decatur Main Street and asking for funds for the facade. I think there's move facade funds to the alley renovation. I think that's what Max is here for.
He should go last.
Need Jamie's help?
I don't know. Alright, I was going to give an update on Main Street, Decatur Main Street. I think y'all know that we've been awarded the Aspiring Main Street, and hopefully at the first of the year we'll be accredited as an Indiana Main Street, which has a lot of benefits to that. And there are two of them is, and I did check because I know there's been budget cuts within the state, but those two grants they are still there. There's $1 million for facades, and there's $1 million for, I think, building improvements for in the downtown area. So hopefully, like I talked to the director from Kendallville when they first, and you have to be an accredited Indiana Main Street to be eligible for those. And they got theirs the very first year. They got $1 million for facades.
Yeah, I knew Kendallville did, yeah.
Because there's not a lot of right now. I think there's 17 accredited Indiana Main Streets. So, yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Great
So
work.
I guess I was just going to talk a little bit. I just mentioned those two. I made some notes here. Okay, our Main Street group, our board, we met with OCA reps, representatives last Monday for our training. In order to become an accredited Main Street, we need to have some state training, and they need to talk about some different accreditation standards that we need to realign our Main Street for. We're an ODAN, which is like the lowest level, now we're an Aspiring, and then we'll hopefully become the other. And so we are working to realign Decatur Main Street for their accreditation standards. Our goal is to become a standalone organization. Currently, we are kind of combined with the chamber, but we're kind of hope to become standalone. I've talked to a number of others this past Friday, I was up in Warsaw. They had a Indiana Main Street.
It's like a workshop where you meet with other Main Streets and training.
Community exchange,
Yeah.
That's the name for it, yeah. And so it was an all-day thing, all the Main Streets from the area, from the state. I mean, there was probably 30 people there, different directors and board members. So I think I learned a lot that day. It also kind of confirmed some of the things that I already think how our Main Street should be headed and going. The state pointed out that, we're a 501c3, chamber organizations are a 501c6 or
501c6.
There you go. Thank you, sir. We work together, but we also have different tax things, so we actually have to work separately. Like Warsaw, they are in the same office, but they have separate directors, separate boards. Then we have to have a separate board. We can't have a chamber board. The chambers work off of membership, and we got to work for, basically there's three things that they say we need to work. Community involvement, even the public, fundraising kind of a thing, the businesses, be sponsors, not members, because member means you have a benefit. I'm a member, so I get a benefit from it, but we really work on sponsors, not just for downtown, but, throughout the community, different sponsorships, or, they didn't even say sponsorships, they had where they like supporters, yeah, downtown supporters.
Right now, Main Street is run on sponsor, or not on sponsors, on members, and so that's a big thing moving forward. You don't have members, you have sponsors or supporters.
So they say 501c3s can't have members, because that means you get a benefit for paying the dues, kind of a thing. So that's what we're kind of working on. We have to redo our bylaws, we have to redo and set up our supporters and those things. And the other, they basically they have like 3 different things: fundraising, supporters, and city involvement, and county. County kind of worries me. Hopefully the city, I know Dan to a number of other Main Street kind of get what their support is towards the Main Street organizations. It's usually running about 1/3 of their budgets for most of these different ones. You may find differently, but I mean, I don't know if you want numbers, but currently our budget has been about $25,000 a year. But to become an accredited, it's really tough to work on with just volunteers. So, and the state suggests that you don't have to, but then at least a part-time or full-time director who's actually concentrating and not. Currently, you know, Craig is our volunteer director, but I mean, most of his, you know, the chamber's paying him, so most of his focus is on the chamber kind of a thing. So, like even up there at Warsaw, they have, like I said, 2 directors in the same building and everything. But, so like I said, and I think with the director in there, our tentative budget, we're working on it in our organizational committee along with our board, looking at probably more like a $75,000 budget for the year. And Main Streets, you know, are up there, you know, at Warsaw, they're saying, you know, you need to stress that it's the city's living room. A lot of the fun stuff happens. It's the heart of the city. You have a healthy heart, you know, good businesses, things going on downtown. You have a healthy body, which is the rest of the city. So basically, yeah. One of the things I would hope you guys will think about, I know your budget's coming up, is if you can think about us sometime in there. And different things. Like I said, I know you've done some research, the mayor has, on what other cities have done. I know, I really like Huntington, which they are bigger than us. They were getting like 40,000 from their city. But I mean, I don't want to say a lot of numbers stand by. I heard differently. Kind of a thing. But like Columbia City and Kendallville, which are both our size, they're getting like 25,000 from their city. And the yearly budget, which would be a big help for us.
And it would go towards most likely having somebody there full-time that's focused on Main Street and getting the word out there, working on events, just help, and all of the stuff that has to get done to be an accredited Main Street. There's a lot of different paperwork and different things that go into it.
Yeah, and the paperwork, and the state likes a lot of that paperwork too, because they want to know, like, the new businesses within your Main Street, because Main Street's the 40th anniversary this year. But they want to know how many new businesses, how many minority businesses, how many women-run businesses. They like these all for their statistics to show how Main Street's doing too. That's why they do have a lot of paperwork in order to become an accredited Main Street, in order to get some of these big grant things. We talked about those things. Okay, I think basically, I think I covered most of it, did I not? That, you know, we're still working at trying to become and get this accreditation so that I think it would be a benefit for the city, you know, if we can get some of these grants. It's also a benefit, just like the Stellar was, you know, you put plans together and then you actually, even if you don't get the money, you still have these plans in place and you get stuff done. So, I guess that's pretty much that. I'm not asking for any money today, but hopefully you can.
Soon you will be.
Okay, yeah. All right. The other thing is I will be asking for some kind of money, but thank you. We have been working on a project through the design committee, and that's the alleyway right over here, going 2nd Street and 3rd Street parking lot behind Two Brothers parking lot. And that is to enhance that alley. You know, the alley's already closed off. And so they come up with this one idea. Part of this idea is it's very colorful, kids-oriented. The sculpture asked if they could move the cat sculpture in that alley, which they've already done that. And so they kind of took that as a theme to make this alley kind of fun. You know, some benches in there and some things that, because I don't know, you know, I got business downtown and I see people walking all the time. I see stop walking down the street all the time. They just use it as, it's nice, the sidewalks are nice, so they are out there walking. I know Jamie has shown this to both Kurt and Jeremy. They say, you know, these things, they don't have a problem with it. Things are doable. And so it basically, we kind of threw together a budget for it, although I think if we work with Jeremy, he may have some other places they may order from, some of these kind of kids things like that kiddie rider or the tunnel kind of a thing. And the park benches that I just kind of looked up online, but basically the budget is about $15,000. You see the public art collage thing up. Instead of like doing a mural on one of the walls, I did talk to Sherwin-Williams, and they haven't gotten me the number of the person who actually owns that building to get permission. And the idea is almost to be more of a fundraiser where we would sell, not canvases, but something like for CBS or something. Alex Mendez is looking into what would work best. Like, you know, sell one for like $10 and use this cat paint and have somebody paint, you know, a cat, and know what the requirements are, and then we would hang them on the walls with the collage instead of like getting a mural done.
And it would be on a structure kind of like what's at the Hive, to where it wouldn't be a bunch of stuff going into the wall, but it'd be easy to get them all hung.
Yeah, I mean, that's just one idea, is make the walls different, and it would have the string lights and everything. So like I said, so the budget, is about, what I've come up with, about $15,000.
And we have funds in the facade left, weren't used yet this year, to cover what we would need from the city portion, because the Rotary's looking, they've applied for a grant that would fill that gap. So there's about $12,000 left in that facade fund, and that's what the ask is, to use those funds for this instead of the facade this year.
Instead of reopening it.
Right.
Yes.
And that-
We've already had it.
We have the facade, yes.
But at some point, I mean, the facade program has been actually great. The downtown buildings have been doing really good, but I don't know, maybe at some point it should be kind of re-looked at. Like this last year we had to reopen too, I think. And it seems, I don't want to say a whole lot, but like the same ones keep asking for it. Some of the buildings we really think need it don't, but we've had multiple people, you know, just keep getting it every year while others do not.
Right.
Is it still in a limited area, or is it the whole city?
Right. This is the second year that it is the whole city. We had one person outside of downtown that got it this past year. We haven't got too many people that have applied outside of downtown.
So they know it's available. Maybe that's...
Right. And we've had 3 in total. But it's only the second year that we've allowed.
Facade money that's not used, what does it normally do? Roll over?
It in the past
Or-
has rolled over, and also in the past we like reopened and asked again for
Okay.
people to apply. And that's what we didn't ask this year until we were going to ask about this project first, or we could do either one of those, roll it over, or I guess the third option is it just gets absorbed back into your guys' money. So it's your money. But
I like this idea. I also appreciate that people are still using it. I mean, the next page, I just saw it finished up. It looked great. You know, seeing those through, it's just made a tremendous difference. And it doesn't take long. Like Two Brothers redid a lot of theirs with facade grant money. I don't know if it's the current owners or the owner before, but even some of it already could use to be, there's parts that need it redone, and I'm not picking on them, but it doesn't take long for these things to weather.
I think what we could do with $1 million if we could get that grant. And like Kendallville, I think they went like a 90-10 match.
Mm-hmm.
That they pretty much paid for, now where they got some big projects done. But
Right.
These alleys were closed to be pedestrian entertaining spaces, and we've not accomplished that yet.
Right. I think this is a good first step. I also think in going for some of those grants, if you can show you've done these kind of things in your downtown, I think you'll have a little better chance at getting some of those grants too. Make it pedestrian friendly.
I'd make a motion to move forward with use the remainder of the facade grant money for this project they put together. Thanks for your work on it.
I'll second.
Okay, motion is second. Any other discussion?
The art, the public art, is it going to be, like, how do you keep it weatherproof? Is it contained in something?
Alex Mendez, he was checking, I don't know what city he said from one of the culture tours he goes to that they do this, and he was checking with them. I think they use ABS and then they coat it. And I think, the idea, which can be changed, so hopefully we get some true artists or even some 5-year-olds, so it'd be a mix, kind of a thing.
But it's also something that where Alex is looking, it's switched out like every 6 months. So it's not like it's up there for a whole year or something, so that kind of helps with that. But there is a special weather.
I'm curious to see how they do it, just because I'm thinking of a 70-mile-an-hour wind gust going down that alley.
Are you saying coating or coating? Like coating?
Coat.
Coat, some kind of coat,
Yeah,
okay. Okay.
And they
Yeah,
would,
I didn't understand what you're
be
saying.
requirements, to use like acrylic paints or use
Yeah,
waterproofing,
okay.
kind of a thing, but then like a clear coat over them, probably be our responsibility to get it just before we put them up.
Yeah. I think it's great. Several things have been tried down in that alley previously, and none of them really lasted, so, yeah.
These things would be bolted down, so.
Okay, I'm right about it.
Okay, any other discussion? Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, Max, thanks for all the work.
Thank you, sir. Thank you guys.
Looking forward to it.
Don't get the other thing.
Next, on getting a credit, I know you've been working on that for a while.
Thank you.
Okay.
I know, I didn't
Let's see. Oh, you have a Master Street event?
And a great use of that.
So I have a Madison Street rental application. It's for a private wedding ceremony. It's September 27th, and it starts at 3:30 and ends at 5. They'll start setting up at 9, and they'll be out of there by the ceremony. So they're expecting around 200 people, and the restrooms will need to be open, and they'll use the sound system on the plaza. Again, that's September 27th, and it's a private wedding ceremony. And I have all the signatures here, and they'll have the insurance as well.
Okay. Do we usually approve those?
Make a motion to approve the event.
I'll second.
Okay, motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, do you want us to talk about the Merit Center cleaning budget?
Yep. Okay, so we have Lynn here with us. She's currently cleaning the Merit Center. And so this service gets paid out of the council's budget, so that's why I'm here tonight. Erin had noticed that the council budget was overexpended what it should have been at this time of year, so she looked into it, and historically, the past couple of years, $12,000 was budgeted for that role. We did receive different complaints that, the areas weren't kept up, it wasn't clean, hallways were dirty. And then Lynn had stepped in whenever the prior cleaner had some medical issues, and everybody had great things to say about how clean it was, so whenever the other person had stepped down, we asked them to take over full time. Had been working 35 hours a week, and that is what caused that budget to go over, and we did approve those hours. And then I talked to her, we looked at what was being cleaned currently, how we could adjust the schedule to still keep it up, but kind of get more in line with the budget. And so last week she started doing 23 hours a week to see, can that be kept up and what that looks like budget-wise. So with that 23 hours a week for an annual cost, it would be right over $35,000 for a year to be budgeted. So it is significantly higher than what had been done in the past, but there's also a lot more use in the Merit Center. I know, like, Council on Aging keeps track of people who are coming and going, and based on the numbers that Michelle had sent me a while back from last year, there were 5,000 people in the last year from her numbers. And then outside of that, there's also the daycare using the gym 2 times a day. There's rentals. There's volleyball leasing the gym out. The senior center is free space for Council on Aging. There's a restroom in there, and the senior center itself has a lot of use, so that gets cleaned 3 to 4 times a week. There's a lot of use, but again, it's over the budget that's been spent in the past. So just asking you guys what you think can be budgeted for next year, and that Aaron would need to know, like, end of July, probably, looking at the budget. And then moving forward for this year, if we were to stay at 23 hours, that would be right around $20,000 for the rest of this year. So looking at that and seeing what...
It's great, the facility's being used, therefore it needs cleaned. What does the merit board have to say in regards to
We
this?
have a meeting on Thursday, and
Okay.
I will add in, the merit board normally gives around $1,200 a year towards it, so that will be an ask Thursday, but we haven't had a meeting since.
Do we clean the daycare side, or they clean their own?
The daycare cleans their own, yeah. So
But
we
what
take,
clean Council on Aging?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The least space technically is Council on Aging and then the gym, because the daycare does use the gym. But it's also open for pickleball use during the day. And then the people that are walking the halls and using the restrooms, there was over 2,000 last year, people in there doing that.
It's a facility that's evolved.
Mhm.
We didn't know what it was going to be until we were in there and using it, so we'll have to then also be looking at what's appropriate rents down the road. But in the immediate, it needs done, it needs cleaned. I don't want it not being clean.
Right, right. And I will say, I've heard nothing but good things about her since she's been cleaning out there. You've done a great job. I just think the mix-up was the budgeting of it, right?
So Aaron, you're new to the role, but where do we have money?
Well, I think when we, like I said, I noticed that that particular appropriation was lower than it should be, so we looked into it. I think the date was it May, that we looked through May, possibly, or it had to have been like the middle of May. And we had already spent $22,000, I believe. So that kind of threw up the red flag when we're normally spending $12,000 and it's May. So that was the kind of the red flag, if you will. I mean, it's going to. I mean, we're already going to start this year. You know, we'll have to do some adjustments. But moving forward, it's just. Do we, you know, is that the money you want to spend? Are we talking 30, you know, I'll budget $35,000 if that's what you want.
So, Council on Aging, they don't pay rent, is that right? 'Cause wasn't the agreement that...
Yeah, there's an MOU. They pay rent for a small room, but not for the majority of their space.
Yeah,
Because they're the on-site person.
right, they're the go-to
Yeah.
for all the other
Yes.
residents there.
And the county and city together shared a huge expense of heating and air upgrade for the whole facility with magic COVID money.
Well, the rent, how much everyone is paying rent out there, like what is it comparable to like standards of rent? You know, when somebody rents a place in a strip mall, I don't know how those amounts are decided.
I think they're on the lower side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a little lower than standard, but the ones that are paying rent are paying for small rooms, and the majority of the person using that facility is not paying rent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Council on Aging is not paying any rent, nor paying to clean it, and also asking for money for us to put in their budget. Or, I mean, I mean, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but they're also a county entity that should share some of the burden and cleaning the place too if they're using the majority of the place. Or budget some of it because we're giving them money, also giving them a free space to use, and also cleaning it and paying the heating and cooling.
Right.
Like, I understand what Matt's saying, it's a great facility, great use, but I don't know if we should be fronting all the costs on it, because that's a big facility.
Yeah.
Well, I think even like the people who are coming to play pickleball and people who are just walking the hall, the kids that are in the gym playing all the time and they're not actually renting that space, like that is a lot of wear and tear, and the usage of all the, you know, the restrooms, like how many kids are in daycare and using those restrooms, and, you
So
know.
they do have a restroom that's more for just the kids,
Oh.
that they take care of cleaning. But I will say they still definitely use other restrooms.
Yeah.
The kids have their own restrooms,
Yeah.
but the boys can use the ones that I...
Now, so I have a question. Wasn't the rent supposed to change whenever they were full?
And I have just recently heard that that is a potential. So the person was on vacation last week, so I'll find out this week
Okay.
what their numbers are like, because once they do reach that full capacity, their rent doubles.
Is 23 hours enough to clean up the facility? Is it really more than that? You're just willing to do it in 23 hours?
We're slower, a little bit slower now. In the summer, because a lot of people walk out. But in the winter, definitely not. We have a lot more people walking in the winter to the pool outside at 5 feet. And then, you know, we have people that, you know, like to be inside where it's all one level and cleaning up the flush and stuff, you know.
So it's more a 30-hour-a-week job, really. That's why we're having the discussion. I want, you know.
Did we get a machine to do the floors and the whole?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Use it in the gym and on the hallway.
Okay,
Because I was familiar with that from using it before.
okay, okay.
It's really the mayor's board that sets those rates for rent.
Well, they make a recommendation to you guys.
Make a
I mean,
recommendation.
they also don't have the money to
Sure.
pay for it.
Sure.
I mean, so that falls on this board. Do you want to go forward with the 23 hours and see, I mean, we're just going to have to get through this year, reappropriate something?
I would like to meet as a merit board first and have some discussion.
But you're on the merit board,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, okay.
We have
And
a
then-
meeting this Thursday.
Yeah, we have a meeting this Thursday. I would like to just talk through it with them and then
Yep.
present something back to you. I think there's a couple of options here that the merit board could pose to you.
Okay.
Good.
That's
Okay.
good.
Okay.
While we're on this subject, is there any way you could put like an expense sheet together of what the merit center costs the city in a year in utilities? See what, so I could see it. And total revenues too? Yeah.
Spreadsheet, yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I guess we'll let the merit board meet and let them report back to the council. All right, thanks. And thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. Okay. Well, we talked earlier in the Board of Works about the 24-25 Adams County Economic Development Annual Fee for Service. We made them a matter of record. Do we need to do something in here now too? Or?
I just was going to make it a matter of record on both, just to cover.
Okay. So we need to make a matter of record that 24 and 25, the fee for service with economic development.
Second.
Okay, motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, are you talking about the Pennsy Depot? Okay.
So I received a call from Sandy Collier and Susan Filling. The Adams County Historical Society and the Berne Chamber of Commerce are working together, and they're going to do an Adams County Christmas walk, and it'll be early December. So they were asking if the Penzi Depot could be one of these locations, and they would be the host. What they're asking, it would be used as, like a free promotion of the Penzi Depot. And they're asking if they can use that for free instead of having to pay something for it to be the host.
Absolutely. I make a motion they can use that.
I second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, thank
Those
you.
ladies will have it looking beautiful.
Yep. Okay, next I have, Jenny, to give an update on the flag.
Yeah, so, the flag committee has selected a final design winner. This is an agreement with the actual public vote of what people were voting online of those 3 flags. So, our plan is this Saturday to reveal the flag design winner at 1 p.m. at Downtown Decatur Day. This is following, and correct me, Max, if I'm wrong, the crowning of Little Miss Decatur. Yes. So around 1 o'clock. Unfortunately, the winner is not able to be present because they are out of town with prior obligations. So, we just really felt as a flag committee that we wanted some kind of, bigger public, environment to display the flag and share it, reveal it. And so we'll be handing out little handheld flags as well. And then we will bring the final flag design forward to council for review, approval of the flag on July 1st at our next meeting. We wanted to be able to reveal the flag ourselves first in a public setting prior to bringing it to City Council for adoption because obviously we didn't want the media to get a hold of it and reveal it. Yeah. So we will reveal the design winner on Saturday, but obviously it will not actually be approved until we all review it at council and then it's passed.
Where is that? See if we give you any coverage.
Pardon?
See if we give you any coverage.
Okay.
Where is that Saturday?
Downtown Decatur Day on 2nd Street and the Plaza, Saturday.
Yeah, the crowning will be on the plaza on the stage, right?
Yeah.
The crowning on the plaza on the stage, so
Yeah.
it'll be right after.
I don't think the girls know that, but yeah, Cinderella's going to do the crowning.
Oh.
Don't reveal that.
Oh my gosh.
They weren't listening anyway.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Funny.
Do you have anything else for council?
I do. Just one more thing. Just wanted to make this a matter of record as well. We did sign a new business service contract with Community Fiber. Because of the live stream, we had to up our speed to 100 Mbps. So you approved this contract prior, and we have
An amendment or addendum.
yes. So that's what I need to do.
And we even did a little negotiating with them to get
Right.
faster speed at a better
At a
price.
better price.
Right,
Yep.
so,
Yep.
and what they were offering, so.
Yeah.
I think competition in town made it, those prices attainable, so. So we need to,
What do we need
Are you-
to do?
Has it been signed?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just making it a matter of record.
Mhm.
Is it already in effect?
I believe it is. Well, it has to be, right, Jamie? This is, in effect, we have the faster speed now? It's sort of, yeah.
Correct. But yeah, we're in the works.
because we have to start live stream
Next meeting.
the end of July,
Oh.
right? Isn't,
I thought
It'll
it
be
was
in June, so our July meeting is whenever.
oh, it's at the end of June?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so first meeting in July.
First meeting in July is the day.
So I would make it a matter of record.
Okay,
Meeting.
yeah.
That'll work.
Okay, so nothing here? Or- Okay. Okay. Do you have anything else?
No.
You have anything else? The only other thing I was going to bring up
Did
is
anyone make a motion to make that?
No.
It'll be a
the next board
board
order.
order. Sorry.
We've been working with Engineering Resources on some park upgrades near the Riverside Center near the river. The whole idea is that sometimes when this grant funding comes out, they're looking for plans that are already done with budgets, with renderings, with all these things. Not saying we have the funding to do it right now, but we want to get something in the hopper so that when some grant funding comes out, we have plans that we can give to, that we can show. We've had a few sets of meetings with the steering committee, and we've also had some of the Mayor's Youth Council people involved. So probably in the month of July, we'll start having some public meetings, because we want to hear from the public, what kind of amenities they want to see in the park. So there are some drawings, there's a couple different drawings, there's some ideas of different amenities, and then now the next step is to bring in the public, and we're not sure how we're going to do that exactly, but it will be coming in the month of July sometime. So we'll definitely get the public involved in designing this park. So, with that, we'll go to department heads. Jeremy,
Just got a couple project updates for you.
do you have some projects going on?
There's a couple. Anyway, 5 points to start with. It's come along very nicely. Where they're at this point is this week they will get the storm sewer finished up, the install. They're down there cleaning up now, taking out all the concrete, the rest of the asphalt, the brick, such, and getting the what's called the base or the dirt ready to cut everything to grade. It's hopeful that early next week they will be cutting everything to grade, and by the end of the week have it stoned. Once the stone and stuff is in, right after the 4th of July, E&B, which is the general contractor for that project, will come in and start laying out all the concrete and actually start pouring concrete. So things are progressing very well. I'm not going to say that we're ahead, because as soon as you say that, you go behind. So, but it is coming along very nice. Going to the community crossings package, that is also coming along very well. We're probably about 2 weeks from, maybe 2.5 weeks from being done with all the sidewalks and all the concrete work. Once that is completed, then they will switch over to building and paving. So that also is a nice touch to see that progressing. That is going very well. Satisfied so far with the quality of work. They've been really easy to work with. If we don't like something, that they've been correcting the problem. So I'm hopeful by the end of August, community crossings this round will be buttoned up. I would be hopeful to have it done before school starts, but I doubt it. That is always the goal, but I don't know that that's going to happen. Going ahead of that crew, we've been doing some sewer work, some little structure, or manhole placements, and some little pipe work to make the provisions where we know that we have some issues. So we have been working on that also. So it's been very busy, but we're getting some things accomplished. Also, we've been working with the mayor and a few others on the Frisbee Golf extension. Hopeful that will be completed here within the next week also.
Great.
So,
Great.
questions on any of that stuff?
Have you done the sidewalks where you switch over to the streets then, or what?
Yes, they will switch to milling and paving. So I'm hopeful mid-July they will start that. If they start it that soon, they should be able to have it done before school starts, but I'm not going to promise that. Because then there's all the little tedious pavement markings and stuff that's very time consuming that comes after that. So I tell you, I'm probably looking more toward August. So if you guys have any questions or anything comes up, just feel free to reach out. Everything's progressing.
Good.
Some huge improvements to come these projects.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
you.
Kevin G.
Well, in preparation for the June 28th Pride Fest downtown, there's obviously been a lot of opposition to this, and a lot of opposition from the community. I guess only have a couple more to share. This is going to be this is an aerial map of the downtown area. The yellow dotted line around the plaza is obviously where the event's taking place. And then the red dotted line is on Madison between 2nd and the alley to the west. And we'll be shutting that down we are expecting several protesters, and so we're giving them that section of the city along with the front yard of the courthouse, and just advertising that as a free speech zone. So anyone that wants to come and exercise their First Amendment rights, they have that pre-designated zone that they can go to that's separate from the event itself, to hopefully keep the peace and everyone can just have a safe Saturday, yeah, regardless of what your stance is on this. And then, thanks to the Adams County Health Department, we have, for Downtown Decatur Days, we have a couple different items that we're going to be handing out. This is a magnet file of life, and so that's something that they pick up and they can stick it on their fridge, and this little paper pulls out and they can write their medical history on it. So in the event first responders are called to your house, this is there, easily accessible for us for pertinent information. And then this is a child identification kit, and you'll be able to fingerprint the adults, not us. We'll be able to fingerprint your own children, put their DNA sample in here, a picture, dental records, all that they can then keep in a safe location at their home and hopefully never need it. And we have a few other good items to get onto, and maybe some antics between the fire department and us, we'll see.
Sounds good. Jeff?
Yeah, a couple things. We had our first out of school tours in the middle of our structure fire, which thankfully Oakland Fire Department helped with that. We had about 30 to 40 visitors that morning. Also, it's getting close to that time of year when fireworks are going to be out. Just remember that there are restricted times that fireworks can be used. Usually June 29th through July 3rd, they can be shot off between 5 p.m. and 2 hours after sunset, but the ultimate cutoff is 11 p.m. And then July 5th through July 9th at the same time, 5 p.m. to 2 hours after sunset, or 11 p.m. July 4th and December 31st is 10 a.m. to midnight. And be careful, everyone needs to be careful using fireworks.
Okay. Thank you. Aaron?
Next week we will start our door knocking for our lead service line inventory, so it'll be open to letting the guys work out, check to see what kind of service you have, to help you.
Right. Thank you to the group that Aaron and Bill and everyone that's been working with Commonwealth, I believe.
Commonwealth and GDIP for the
Okay.
CPA.
Yep. They put a lot of work into this effort, and we're trying to be proactive and get rid of lead service lines. So this is the start. We're working with IDEM also. So there will be people coming around knocking, and we're trying to find out where our lead service lines are. So please work with these people to let them know.
There's also an online survey that they can participate in if they know that they're not going to be around, to be able to answer the more we can.
Right.
So question, Aaron, like, if someone's knocking at your door, are we expected to, like, let them, come into the basement and look at all the pipes and everything, like, be prepared for that, essentially?
They're going to want to look where
Yeah.
it comes through the wall.
Okay.
Especially that's near where your water meter is.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
There will be 8 to 10 people, 2 groups They will all have ID. We will take pictures, probably on our social media, as well as we'll ask the PD to share it so that everyone can know who's going to be knocking at the door. But they will have ID. We do also have vests for them, March City Water Department, City Decatur Water Department, and they'll be accompanied by somebody from the City of Decatur.
Good. All right, thank you. Jamie?
This Saturday is Main Street Downtown Decatur Day. There's going to be food vendors between Jackson and Monroe Street. There's over 10 food vendors, and then there's over 70 vendors that'll be from Monroe Street down to Jefferson Street. And we'll have some of the Decatur Mayor's Youth Council students here for the golf cart race at the Riverside Center at 10 o'clock, and there'll be parks and people can vote on their favorite decorated golf cart.
Okay. Anything from council?
I do, Mayor. I want to first thank the chief for being proactive when it comes to protesters and events that are coming up. What can be done and said and what should be done and said are up in the air at times, and it's been noted of late. So we've had for weeks now Grandmothers Against Fascism, started by Sue Downing on the courthouse square. This week they moved because they didn't have traffic. I have no problem with people protesting, but what should be said on a sign staying on the side of the road. Everybody can read this. Everybody looks at it. When you have the president in a toilet that says flush twice, from a grandpa against fascism, I guess, it's inappropriate. I don't care who the president is. Can you do that? Yes. In a free world. Should you do that? I don't think so. Then Saturday we made social media statewide with the protest. I guess it was No King's Day was the protest. Again, can you hold up a sign that says F-U-C-K Trump? Yes. But should you? Everybody can read this, and it's just not appropriate. And I would ask people not to conduct themselves that way in our town. Another one was 8647. Social media lit up with, should this person be arrested? I talked with the chief of police. He said, free speech goes a long way. But again, can you do it and should you do it? I really question that. So now, next we have Pride Fest. Who's going to show up? You don't know who's going to show up. That's the problem a lot of people have with the event, is that you don't know who's going to show up. I hope it's peaceful. I hope people conduct themselves appropriately. And I ask them to. I was voted by the majority as an at-large representative, and the majority doesn't want certain things in this town. So I'm going to personally ask the Pride group to cancel the drag show. We all know there's nothing family-friendly about a drag show. And I understand the Pride event is evolving from where they started to what it's becoming, but it hasn't happened yet. They can conduct the festival however they choose to conduct the festival, but what's appropriate, what is indecent, I think should be kept in mind. So I'm going to ask Jenny, because you are part of the board, to take it to your group and just ask them to cancel the drag show portion of it, or at least take it indoors. It's not wanted by the vast majority of this community, and I feel I need to speak up for them. So, with that, I think I'm done opining.
Okay, anyone else from council? Ian?
No.
Public. I see Raj.
Yes, something I wanted to address. And,
Raj, before you start, I just want to make sure that you understand our public comment portion, and we go through this when we offer public comment, but generally, public comment is public comment.
I have an issue.
Well,
that affects me as an individual.
If you have a public comment related to an agenda item, this is the time to do it. If
Yeah,
it's an issue that you would like to have a debate or discussion with council, we generally ask that you come before council as part of the agenda. And that way we have an opportunity to understand and be prepared to address and discuss the issue itself.
Okay, well, what I want to discuss, I think it has to do with the whole,
Well, this is the public comment section, so you can make a statement, but it's not the opportunity for a discussion.
okay, that's fine.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, so generally we limit it to 2 minutes, and we would ask that you state your name and your address, even if we all know, may be aware of who you are. So if you can state your name, address, and then you get your 2 minutes to bring up your topic.
Okay, so since it's going to take more than 2 minutes, shall I set a meeting to schedule the addresses?
That would be preferable then. And we'd be happy to talk with you.
So I can still let you know what I want to talk about?
So you can bring up the issue, I think, and then let everyone know that you want it to get on an agenda so where you can actually have it, like an agenda item.
Well, the problem I have is, I took my daughter to the Adams County Hospital. So, she's 17 years old, and they test her for pregnancy and drug addiction. And then they release her. So I went back and I asked the nurse, why did you guys release my daughter? She fell. Why did you guys just, test her for drugs? And they said she's pregnant, she's 17 years old. And I asked her, I said, look, did you guys consult, if the emergency room doctor doesn't know what happened, did he consult any specialist or anybody before he released my daughter? Because when he released my daughter, she had all the symptoms still. Now, where's my problem? My problem is that hospital serves as Adams County and one of the top 100 hospitals in America. And then I had to leave there because she literally looked at the desk receptionist and said, if you ask any more questions, call the police. Well, 3 police came. All right, 3 officers came. So I asked the officers, I said, okay, I will talk with you guys, but we're going to go under the camera. I'm not talking to you guys unless we're under the camera. So we went under the camera. And we had the conversation. So, I have to leave now and take my daughter to Parkview. Same night. So that hospital is going to charge me for a service that I never got. And a service that I thought that advertised itself as a hospital. So I was of the impression that that care is for somebody who wants a and the hospital is somebody who wants to go to the hospital and get care. So my problem is, I understand all your suggestions to make the city better, but what about healthcare in our city? Because it's not me alone saying this. While I was sitting there, another family, that's why I wanted that in the camera. Another family came.
I appreciate your comments and your opportunity to speak here.
Right.
Come in with the 2 minutes. So if you would like to address this in more detail,
Yeah.
we can set up a time for you to speak with city officials. If you want to give me a call at my office, I know that you know where that is, so you can give me a call, okay?
Could I make one more statement?
4 minutes is up. Thank you.
This is just a compliment I want to give.
Okay.
It's a compliment. I want to compliment the mayor for the job. And I want to say too, you know my reputation in this city, but I'm also a pastor in this city. Alright? And I have no problem with the LGBT community given their rights under the Constitution. That's all.
Okay. Thanks, Roger.
Thank you.
Okay. Motion to pay claims.
I'll make motion to pay the claims.
Motion is second, all in favor?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion is second to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.